We are Fleck, Rose, and Spears, and we are Supremely Black. Welcome back this week, fellas. How y'all doing?
Man, doing good. Can't complain at all, man. I'm going to just announce these shows to the day start. Chuckles in Memphis, man, we need y'all to buy them tickets. Go. If you're listening and you're in the Memphis area, please go to my Instagram, link in the bio, purchase your tickets, come see your boy. The 4-piece No Biscuit comedy tour is in full effect and full swing. So make sure you go purchase them tickets. Let's get it on and popping. Oh, congratulations to my cousin Bridget and Rocky Smith. They just got married over the weekend. So congratulations to them. And you know, may God bless them and keep their marriage for many years. To death do us part. Good wedding outside. A lot of damn mosquitoes getting ass tore up during the ceremony. But we had a good ass time though. We definitely had a good ass time for sure.
Where was that, John Ed?
It was in Memphis. I was in Memphis.
Okay. That's what's up.
The Botanical Garden or whatever. It was real nice.
Something I just seen that I didn't know of. And I know most of us all have it in our households. Vanilla extract is a natural mosquito repellent and fly repellent. So if you just rub it on you like essential oil or whatever, and I gotta watch the video again. I don't know if you got to dilute it with some or if you could just directly rub it on your skin, but it's supposed to work wonders for mosquitoes and flies.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
Oh, that's gonna I'm gonna be using that for sure. I'm gonna take that. I ain't diluting it with nothing. I'm pouring that junk on like like cologne, man.
Real tough. No, congrats, Bridget. But everything been solid on my end, man. Really just maintaining, grinding. Can't complain. I'm blessed, man. How everything going on your end, Spirit?
Everything good on my end. Can't complain either. So just blessed and everything. For me though, I just want to start with sending some prayers and love and support out to Bronny James. He had that cardiac arrest this week or whatever, or today actually. So I'm not even gonna say this week, today. And so I just want to send support, prayers, and love out to the James family and all of that stuff. Brian might end up retiring depending on how bad it is and everything with his son and all that everything. So I know it might happen a lot in society and in the world, but everybody doesn't have the outreach that, you know, LeBron James and Bronny James and his family have and everything. So anybody else who might be going through that or whose family or loved ones are going through that, we send our love and support to y'all too. And I just wanted to do that. So before we get into this week's topic.
Definitely, man. Yeah, that was crazy, man. Especially somebody that's, you know, an athlete,
Young,
assumed to be young, 18, but assumed to be healthy in regards to that. So it's just, I guess, kind of a little tricky now. What really causes heart attacks, man. So I'm glad that he's out of ICU based off of the information that was provided. But I hope to hear more just to kind of see what would make a young athlete have a heart attack. I hope there is some information that is shared if they happen to want to do so. If not, keep it private. But I would definitely think that would help or let people know of what's really going on out there, because 18 and having a heart attack, that's scary.
Yeah. And
real.
This brings me back to when Shaq's son, you know, had to have heart surgery and everything. And something similar happened to him, but he ended up having to have actual surgery and everything. So it's just even when you do everything right, you still can't do enough. So just stay prayed up, people. You know, just stay prayed up. Well,
Also,
go ahead.
I was gonna say also speaking of also shout out to Jamie Foxx, who has just now come back out from whatever he was dealing with. He still didn't say 100% everything gone, but he said he went through hell and back. And he gonna, you know, people talking about him looking different, this and other. Well, you are. If you go through something serious in a medical condition and he was down and out, didn't know if he was gonna live, you're gonna drop some pounds. You're gonna look a little pale around the face because you've been through it. So, but shout out to Jamie Foxx and shout out to his team for keeping that under wraps, man. Man, it's hard to, you know, these days to keep things under wrap like that, especially when you're a celebrity. So shout out to his team for keeping that under wrap. And Jamie Foxx, man, you one of the greatest. And you know what I'm saying? We glad that you back out here. We appreciate the work that you do. And we hope you can, you know, produce many more arts of work that come out. Shoot, you know, I say the talent that Jamie Foxx have, man, God was just being unfair, man. It don't make no sense. This man, talented comedian, actor, singer, dancer. His football, I heard he was really good with the college for playing sports. And it was just, man, you had to give all that talent to that, bro.
Musician, singer, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, he could do it all. He could do it all.
He might be the most talented of our generation.
Yeah.
Talented. Don't say somebody a better singer. It might be. I'm talking about overall, I can step in the room and do whatever I want to.
Yeah, no, definitely.
Yeah, I think, and I'm glad that, you know, he was able to, you know, come back. And I think it leads into our topic, of course, but I think it's just crazy how people are going with cloning or he don't look the same, whatever. Like to Flake's point, if it was something that, you know, I know it was something that occurred, but it's going to change of how you look, how you feel, how you move. But I think it's just at this point, man, society has like, I'm not even going to consider conspiracy theories. It's they pray for one thing, but then when they get the opposite, something ain't right. So it's weird. It's like, all right, what was you waiting on? Like, again, does it have to be the worst of the worst so you can say I sent my prayers? That's what it seems like. It's like you condition for whatever reason mentally to think for the worst and hope for the worst. You're almost praying for the worst. Because when they shake back, we got every story in the book on how they did or what happened. So, but yeah, that gets into, I think, Flake, what was you want to go ahead and introduce what we're going to be discussing?
Yeah, that moves right along to that. Let's talk about the movie that Jamie Foxx was in that released on Friday, Clone Tyrone. They cloned Tyrone, which to me, I reached out to y'all to see if y'all got a chance to watch it or not. But to me, that was a outstanding movie. I think it had a lot of hidden messages within the movie. I think some people will miss some of the hidden messages, and I probably missed one or two. I'm gonna go back and watch it again. I probably missed one or two hidden messages, but some people probably looking at it, calling it kind of cheesy, this, that, and the other, which is, it is one of them type of movies where it's, you know, it got some humor in it, over the top kind of, but then they hit you with the medicine in the candy also. So I wanted to bring that up as a topic and get you guys thought on it, maybe some of the messages that you've seen in there. A lot of things that are not good for us. The perm thing stuck out for me, women getting perms and the beauty tendency of how you're supposed to look. The drug dealing, the junkies in the community. It was a message behind that as well. So I wanted to get you guys thought on that as y'all watch it. And, you know, if it's spoiler alerts, by the time it's dropped, you should have been on watch it anyway. So I don't feel sorry for it.
Yeah, so I think it was, don't get me wrong, I think it was a good movie. It wasn't what I expected. The first 40, 45 minutes had me really locked in. It's almost a 2-hour movie. I think it's almost a 2-hour movie. I don't know, man. It just kind of, it had some cheesy moments and it just didn't stick the way I thought it would have throughout the movie. Like, out of a scale of 1 to 10, I had to give it like a 7, 6.5, 7. Like, it was good, but I think it could have landed home some of those messages because am kind of, I guess, growing out of, and it could just be coming with age, man, is I want something that's a little bit more direct, and it don't have to be a subliminal message. It's like, just go ahead and say exactly what you feel it is. Don't have people thinking of what were you going with the fried chicken angle, where were you going with the pimp hoe and the drug dealers and the church connection, the music connection. Like, what were you really going with that? What were you going with cloning? Like, just give us something that speaks a little bit more to what the actual issue is, so it's not like, oh man, you know, that's a hidden message. Don't hide the message. Like, let's come on out with it so people can truthfully grasp it and get an understanding. That's kind of what I was left with. So if I had to grade it, it was about a 6.57. I just felt like a couple of those messages should have been a lot more direct. So there isn't so much of a, I wonder, is this what they meant type of thing. What was your thought, Spirit?
I'm gonna have to totally go the opposite of you, my brother. As far as the rating though, it was just a good movie to me. So I'm not even gonna rate it because I mean, before you said it, I didn't even think of a scale 1 to 10 what I would rate it, but it was a good movie to me. And the subliminals, as you are relating to them, I think that made the connectivity of the actual points that the movie was trying to get across. So fried chicken connected and hit to certain people in our community and in our culture because that's what they regularly eat. Getting a perm hit and connected with certain people in our community because of whatchamacallit. Being a dope boy might hit with the dope boys because whatchamacallit, being a pimp might hit with the pimps and everything, or certain people, because I wouldn't say there's too many pimps anymore out here of that nature, of that, stature and how they present themselves. People still pimping, but not in that nature, and going about how, furs and, gator boots and all that other stuff and that typical matter or whatnot. But it may have hit with certain people in our community because I think the bigger point that the movie was trying to get across was, one, how we could be detrimental to ourselves in our own community, but then two, how the powers that be can implement certain structures that are detrimental to ourselves and to our communities, and how certain things are built and perpetuated in our communities that aren't in other communities. So I think it was a beautiful outlay of things that affect our communities and impact our communities. And then one of the biggest lines to me in the movie was when the real what was his name? What was John Boyega's name? Tay something Tay. But anyway, when
Oh yeah, let me get it. Because it changed to Tyrone at the end because it was in LA.
Yeah, but
then
whatever his name was, the real one, the doctor or the scientist one was, he was right. Like, assimilation is greater than annihilation or better than annihilation. That's something that stood out to me, and it's been in my brain ever since I watched the movie. And some people actually feel that way. They feel like assimilating to a agenda, to a narrative, or to a system is better than the total destruction of a culture, society, or thing, or agenda. And so it was just deep how you have the two different thinking aspects of people and things like that. So I just thought it was a well put together movie and developed movie. And there's so many things like Flex said that I may have missed just in the first go around in the movie. To me, it hit on the comedic aspect because Jamie is Jamie, and Jamie did a beautiful job of acting with being a pimp. The lady, I looked up her name, but I will have to look it up again because I didn't remember. She did a hell of a job too.
Yo.
Yeah, she did a hell of a job too at her part. And then John Boyega, he did a good job too, for real. But to me, the the stars of the show was Jamie and Yo-Yo. Again, that's not the actress name, but Yo-Yo, that was her character. And so I just thought it was a really good movie. It reminded me of Sorry to Bother You. I don't know if y'all seen that movie.
Yeah, I seen that.
What's that boy name? That played in Harder They Fall in Atlanta. And you know, he be tripping, but also played in Judas and the Black Messiah. What's that actor name?
Hold on, but Tiana Paris is the name of the actress name.
Tiana Paris, yeah.
And then I can't think of his name either. Good Lord, y'all gonna like, well, y'all ain't coming. Lakeith Stanfield.
Yeah. And with the movie with him and Omari Hardwick, and so that it kind of brought to me the sentiments of that. And of course, they was telling different messages, but they was hitting on the same line and everything. So that's what it reminded me of.
Yeah, man, like I said, it was a lot of messages in there. The chicken was one thing that was like, where everybody laughing, man, put the chicken down. I took it as, you know, they put certain food and they market certain food as unhealthy in the Black neighborhoods and I was watching another podcast today, and they was talking about how McDonald's, and that's what it reminded me of. It was crazy that it was talking about how McDonald's used to market the Black people with the R&B song with the chicken nuggets and Tyrone got a job or whatever, and you know, McDonald's hiring in your community and all that good stuff. It just reminded me of that. So the advertisement of that chicken was, God damn, that's some good chicken. Like, it was the name of the chicken place. God damn, like, come on, man. Like, but you know, but that's how some of the marketing goes. It's not outlandish as that, but when you think about it on the back end, why the hell is McDonald's doing an R&B video for a damn chicken nuggets, or Burger King with Mary J. Blige and the chicken sandwich? You know what I mean? So it just made me think about that, as we do have food deserts and things like that in our neighborhood. When they was talking about the new recipe with chicken, they just trying anything and putting it on the chicken and make, as long as it tastes good, we still gonna sell it within the neighborhood. One thing that I don't think was a message in it, but that was super Black to me, if you grew up in that type of neighborhood, is that you have a homeless person or a crackhead or a junkie that talks off the wall, but gives you knowledge in between the talking off the wall. Like, he might be doing something crazy, and if you get him settled for like 2 minutes, he gonna give you some of the best advice you ever heard in your life. And in this movie, he used to always go back to the homeless man. I think his name was Frog. Post something in his cup. Frog would say something, and then at first he was ignoring him, and then he caught on to what Frog was giving him advice of what was going on, giving him hints, this, that, another. He do the scratch off. Yeah, you always lose. It's set up like that, youngster. And he post something in his drink and keep walking. Next time he come out, yeah, youngster. Woo, you got that fresh scent on you. Here we go. We starting all over again. Like, he throwing hints throughout the whole movie. But it just reminded me of, I used to have, I don't want to call him a junkie, but we just say a J, called Blood. In the neighborhood, we'd see, every time he said, what's up, young blood? What's up, young blood? But he'll stop. Every once in a while, he'll stop and he'll say something. And we were like, damn, young blood just dropped the gym. And then, all right, now, young blood, all right. And he'd take off running again or something like that. But it just reminded me of that so much. But it's so many other, I let D-Rose go.
Yeah, like I said, I think it was cool. Just from my attention span, it didn't really just catch me through. I know one of the key things that I did actually like about the movie of how it ended is when everybody actually came together and fought against what they considered was the system. Now, I think that message was well put together in regards to what it symbolized, and it's just one of those things, like, we'll talk about it, but it's a nationwide thing, is that what is it going to take? And I don't think this just speaks to just Black people, just people in general. What is it going to take to actually go up against the system? And then, you know, just think about, like, when he was shooting at the clone that was in the, that was protected. And it's like you're shooting at an image that looks like yourself, but you're still so eager to want to kill it instead of finding out who's actually controlling it. And eliminating that issue and getting to the root cause. So I think that whole part right there was kind of deep. Of how it caught my attention again, getting towards the end. But you know, and then it all hits you is that when the dude looked at him, like you said, Flake, and said, "Damn, ain't that you, Tyrone?" So what that meant to me is that no matter where you're at, it's all programming, and a lot of us are moving and doing the same things unknowingly, but by design within the system that we're unaware of until we bring it down. Because it was like when they showed the guy on TV, and then there's the one sitting on the couch, and they're like, "Damn, they cloned Tyrone." Like, how did that even happen? You know what I'm saying? So it's just, it was good. I just feel like some of those middle parts where it was the cheesy moments, it could have been really driving home for people that may not even think of it that way. You know, sometimes it's just kind of, you know, to hear nigga and bitch and all that, you know, all that kind of get played out to me. Like, just give us something. I know you're trying to catch people's attention and don't have to be churchy, but take a different approach that, you know, be well suited for everybody. So that was my thoughts on that.
Well, the other part of it too, I don't know where it was filmed at, but I would assume it was filmed on Tyler Perry's estate and his studio, I would assume, but it was very Atlanta. So it was true to what Atlanta is in the parts of Atlanta that's not downtown. And so it was very culturally representative to, if you know anybody from Atlanta, if you know, if you ever been to Atlanta and been in certain parts of Atlanta that's not downtown Atlanta and like Buckhead, Decatur, all of that other stuff, you know, it was very Atlanta. So I think it was true to the environment of where it was filmed at, and it paid homage to that in a sense. So I understand your point a little bit about representation and using different terminology, but the thing is though is that outside of people who choose to, because it's a choice, outside of that, niggas talk how niggas talk on a daily, and females talk how females talk, and you know, calling each other bitches or whatever and all that other stuff. And it's just it's a cultural thing that we have instituted, an unwritten rule that's just how the communication is, or that's how the lingo is amongst each other. So I understand for representation, you want to give something different to the world, but I do think it was true to the area that it was filmed at or portraying to be filmed at. And I think it was very true to society as it is from a Black cultural standpoint, especially being in Atlanta. So I again, yeah, again, I thought the movie was dope, and I just, yeah, I wonder if they're gonna actually do a second one and do it based in Atlanta about Tyrone now or whatnot. That's actually where my mind went to, like, because there's still more things, to your point, Rose, that they can develop with some of them critiques or them, I wouldn't even call it a critique, but with some of them subliminal messages that they was trying to do. And so they could get more pinpoint and hone in if they do a second movie on the messaging that they was putting out there. And so
Yeah, and it's not even, I wouldn't even, and I get where you're going, I wouldn't even necessarily say just from a representation to the rest of the world. It's just for even the people that grew up in those environments that don't even think that way. So it's like, how do you necessarily connect to them? Because there are some people that aren't just really connected to things like that, to where your mindset will be like, oh, this is what that meant. So I think where you, with the, you know, the general tropes of about what we do in Black America, okay, cool, that connects to just the general surface level people, but how do you connect to someone that may not be involved in that, but is still caught up in this same machine of cloning Tyrone? So that's more or less of like, okay, how do we touch those audience that's still within the confines of being in Black America, being Black in America? So that to me was the missing part, because it's like, it was good, but how people are like, oh, this is genius. I wouldn't necessarily say that, because how I'm looking at it is like some of that stuff is surface level. And if you're a deep thinker or has read or even traveled, you will see that some of this stuff is by design. But shouldn't we kind of be past that general message to now let's go next level to have everybody really thinking like that, not just a standard Kool-Aid, chicken, cocaine, pimps, hoes, bitches, dope boys. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, yeah, I get it. Don't get me wrong, good movie, but I think it could have been great with those things right there.
Well, I hear you, and I definitely
Yeah.
get what you're trying to say.
Yeah.
My thing is, though, is that what affects our communities more or at a bigger rate? It would be the dope boys, the pimps, the hoes, the fried chicken, grape juice, you know, all that other stuff. Churches even trying to pimp their communities out and all this other stuff in the standpoint and all this by, you know, getting money, all this and everything. And so I think for the people who are in our community who are even separated from that that dynamic, they still have to have some level of sympathy and empathy, because they know that might be the most important part that plagues our community as a whole. Because just because you're not in that no more, or you never grew up in it, because some of us never grew up in it at all, and don't have an attachment to it besides maybe people or friends that they know that talk a certain way, do a certain things, or by seeing it in movies and society and portrayed on TV or whatnot. But we do know as a whole that those are some of our biggest issues in our communities outside of what, you know, we could say the man does to us. And so I think that's why those were the things that was paramount or presented in this movie, because those are the ones that still from the 60s to now are still very prevalent in our communities and are withholding us back or whatnot. Because one of the beautiful things about it, and I said it earlier, is today's pimps ain't like how Jamie was presented as a pimp, whatever. But this movie was presented in today's time. And so the beauty of it is, you know, Jamie being a pimp of old, because, you know, he talked about the Players Ball in 1986 and everything and all of that stuff. But being in today's time is to show you how even back in the 80s, how they was pimping, and then pimping now today is still a part of our community, and it ain't changed in certain areas and socioeconomic environments. And so I think that was just part of the thing, that those are the biggest issues in our community.
And so I'll play devil's advocate with you on that. Yeah, that may be the biggest issue, but I also think that another bigger part is that we don't have a different representation on what's considered as glorified, cool, or whatever is the new thing to do within the hood. Like, if you happen to celebrate the regular police officer, firefighter, doctor, person who went to college, if those things were celebrated more in the hood, that wouldn't still continue to be the same dynamic no matter what's put in the hood systematically. That's why I'm saying, like, we know that there's other opportunities and people have made it out. Why are we still just holding on to what would be considered as a thing of the past from an image perspective and not presenting? It'd have been cool to see a couple nerds in there that was just like, that was one of them that was an advocate for working out or something different to show, okay, because these things aren't celebrated in our neighborhoods as well. So in order to kind of break that mold, we have to break our mentality, because, okay, if the man put it here, why do we keep indulging in it? And so that's why I'm like, okay, the movie is good. It could have been great if we think about not just, okay, this is the man, but what do we do within our own communities that we don't celebrate enough, that can continue to actually break that mental cycle that we all just think is part of growing up in the inner city or in the low income area. That was my thing. It's like, yeah, cool, but we also have people within our communities that do things outside of what they say is the standard of what was placed there by the man.
Like, I'm gonna let you go, but I just want to say this. But it wasn't about celebrating the positives of our community. So I think that's why they didn't do that. But Flake, if you got something.
Yeah, I think the message was kind of clear at some points if you paid attention. Like the one point where the true version of Tyrone, the scientists of it, what he said of trying to turn Black people into acting as white people. Like I think there was a clear message there, as we got our own way of communicating, our own way of doing things, but we don't have to assimilate to their way of living. I think the other message that was clear that some people might have missed was when they asked, why are y'all doing this? And the white man said, well, if we don't keep y'all neighborhood run down, then how are we gonna receive the monies in these other neighborhoods to keep them thriving? As we know, as we talk about taxes in certain cities and states, certain cities, certain towns get more of the taxpayer money, depending on what's going on there, than it is on the lower end. So it just brought me and reminded me of a situation where they called out this one white man that bought up these houses in a Black neighborhood that just let the houses run down to drive down the property value. So then when they come back up, he can flip his house for a bigger profit. It's not that why is Black folks letting the neighborhood run down, is that, hey, if I buy up 3, 4, 5 houses on this block and don't do nothing to them and keep them run down, then whenever we decide to flip it and everybody want to move closer to downtown, then I can get more money for these properties that I have run down. Maybe then I start fixing it up and then flipping it for $1 million when this house was only worth $30,000 when I bought it, because I bought it and then just let it run down until it come back up. So, there was one message, the whole message about the perm and the standard of the beauty standard is another thing. And they always talk about this too, as far as perms possibly causing cancer in Black women, as we see more women go to the natural movement and using wigs more often than they used to have with perms and this, that, and other. So those are some messages to me that just stood out, like was clear cut. Like we ain't hiding the message, but this is a clear cut message. Some of the parts of being cheesy reminded me of old Black exploitation movies where they kind of cheesy, but it's funny, but you see the message at the same time. I'm with you, Spears. I hope they do come out with a part 2 with Tyrone in LA, maybe, and then they can touch on some of the things D Rose is talking about on maybe this was the negative, and if we come together and think together and fight together, we can defeat this and have our own communities like Little Italy, Little China, this, that, and other. Why it ain't a Little Africa? There's plenty of Africans that live in Nashville, in Houston, in Dallas, and it's a New York. It's a lot of, why it's not a little Jamaican New York? It's a lot of Jamaicans that live in New York. So then we can start thriving in those type of communities. And then maybe we can look on the positive side, having a food market in the area that's run by a Black man, or the nerds in there, but not really even nerds, just regular, because I get called a nerd sometimes with some of the stuff I look up. But our regular Black people that's on that educational side of things and the politics. Because if you go to HBCU, you meet every last one of those different type of Black people. A lot of people be thinking you go to HBCU, it's gonna be hood, it's all the same type of Black person. No, you go and pull up to an HBCU, you get every kind of Black person possible. Everything. You get your gangsters, you get your nerds, you get your street dudes, you get your single parent, you get your 2-parent household, you get the rich, you get the poor, you get the middle class, you get everybody. You get the ones who love what's that? The cartoon stuff, the Japanese cartoon.
Manga.
Yeah, you get the ones who like that. You get your goth Black people. You get all type of Black people. So maybe they can come out with a part 2 a little bit later on, and then speak on that too. I would love to see that also, and speak on that as well. But the music aspect of it, which was definitely real in today's time. Like we're gonna play these certain songs, and then we're gonna get you riled up and get you angry. Then we're gonna play a song about hugs, and you got 2 dudes that was fighting, now hugging on each other. I'm not one of the people where music, I just like the beat and go it never bothered me either way. But you do got some people that listen to certain music and it make them want to rob somebody because their mental state ain't as tough as some other people. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's the tones, it's just how the drums and stuff set up. Some of that stuff is just low vibrational music, to be honest with you. So I think, I mean, like I said, it was a good movie. I think it could have been great. So, you know, I'd be a tough critic. I play devil's advocate for the day. I think it drove great conversation. But
I think that's the point of the movie, is to drive conversation at the end of the day. Yeah. And I tried to see if this was an independent film. I couldn't find it. But if this is an independent film, I'm giving it 10. If it's independent with no backing.
I know Jamie produced it, and I forgot it was something Turner. I forgot that. I think it was Black. It gave me.
I didn't at the beginning. I didn't see any. You know, when the intro come on with Paramount or whoever they play their whole. I didn't see none of that at the beginning of the movie, nor at the end. So I wondered if it was independent. I couldn't find it. I tried to search it to see, but I couldn't find out. If it was, I'm gonna give it a 10, just because on the independent film, it take a lot for something like that to happen.
Yeah, they definitely in that space where I would say, who is it, Jordan Peele?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah.
All right, moving on to the next subject. We just found out that your gal done lied. I know we talked about it last episode, but it came out that it had been a hoax, that she lied, that she really didn't get kidnapped, that she really didn't see a baby, which I think we all knew she didn't see a baby, especially when they said she fought for 600 yards. Hell, I know people that's grown that can't walk 600 yards, and you want me to expect a damn toddler with a diaper on the bed to walk 600 yards without busting their head? Not by it. But anyway, came, and she also said she did it all alone, and she never left the Hoover, Birmingham area. I'm gonna be serious, and then I'm letting the jokes fly. For the serious part of it, as a parent, I would be fucking devastated. I'm not even gonna lie to you. You finna have me stressed out, worried, hawking these streets for 2 days, looking for your ass because you want to play. Whatever reason why, they didn't come out the reason why that I heard and why she did it. But as a parent, I would be damn devastated that you had me concerned like that for that amount of time. Because to me, that's the worst thing that can happen. Prime example, my daughter was out doing hair, and it's like 11:30. And she didn't tell me she had a late appointment. And I'm calling, no answer. Calling, no answer. Texting, no answer. I'm putting my clothes on. I'm about to go searching, because my heart done dropped down to my feet. I'm like, what the hell done went on? Only for a boyfriend to be like, oh, I'm sitting up here with her at the shop. She finishing up on the last few braids. All right, I need y'all to be answering the phone. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was about to hit every neighborhood I know she hang out in and go to and get to search. And when I say search.
Flake was about to be like Jamie. I got the whole hood behind me. I got the whole hood behind me.
Hey, bro. Hey, bro, that shit had me scared for real.
Yeah, you know, I've seen the people, and we lost some subscribers too when we had posted those videos. But you know, it is what it is. I think as a unit, Black men and women, we lack accountability sometimes in situations to where we just can't say, "Oh, okay, hey, this is grace." Some shit just has to be truthfully addressed, and I think this is just one of them where we can't shy away from it. And the reason being is because regardless of how you try to mention other races, if you're a race of people that don't get the attention that is deserved, this isn't something you should play about. This isn't something you should ever even think about doing, regardless of you seeing a white baby. You being a Black woman, I just don't see how that could have happened. And if there was all over just some dick, I mean, that's crazy. And people asking for grace. I mean, she has to live with it. Don't get me wrong. It's not needed to beat her up, but the accountability definitely has to be there, because regardless of what you say, and if you've never seen, when I was living in Orlando, Florida, they were using toddlers and baby carriages to grab people for human trafficking and sex trafficking. So that's some real shit that's going on. But then now anybody that says that is going to be looked at as a joke, and they're going to be thinking of it different. And I hope that doesn't cause another parent, a father, a cousin, a brother and sister, their siblings' life because of a fucking joke and a hoax. Like it's some things we just got to be real with ourselves and just say that you fucked up with this one. And yeah, we're gonna pray that you was home safe and you find whatever purpose that you were looking for and get some mental help. But that ain't to be taken lightly, man. There's people out here, real deal, that have not been found, will never be found, that have already buried their kids because when they did find them, they were deceased. It ain't nothing to play with. And just with her being a Black woman, that's why, to me, it means more. You know, got little cousins like Flake, you know what I'm saying? Like, I look at them like little sister to me. If y'all even come close to Houston, I need to know where you at. You feel me? Like, if y'all go to the city, I need to check in with brother and make sure, hey, get them whatever they need, bro. You know what I'm saying? So they can stay out of everybody else's way. But that's just how we move. And so that just ain't, people can be mad all they want to. We know I'm not Flake the comedian. I'm just keeping it all the way real. Me and my little sister probably still be outside boxing. I'm just gonna keep it all the way real with you now. Like, that ain't what it is, dog. You know, that just ain't what it is. So whatever she's going through mentally, I will say this. I do hope that she gets the proper help. But for people to say, just drop it, leave it alone, take that up with you and your God. That ain't gonna happen. To be for real with you, that ain't gonna happen.
Well, for me, y'all know I didn't really know too much about it, so I'm not gonna have too much to say on it. Y'all both eloquently said
check this out. I don't mean to cut you off, but I'm gonna tell you this: people loved your response because you didn't really know and didn't follow it, and they was like, "Bro, that made the conversation so much funnier," because it's like the shit he throwing out there. People that legit was following it since she went missing was saying the same shit you was saying, and that is so funny because it's like he hasn't seen the story. How do y'all have the same mindset? Like, y'all literally know that this is a hoax, but y'all sound like experienced unknowingly because you didn't research it. But that's what was making it so funny, because people like, bro, that made it so funny because people real deal arguing with people, cuss people out. And I'm like, oh, okay. You followed the story? You still feel that way? Must be nice, but go ahead, bro.
yes, but both of y'all eloquently articulated the bullshit. So I'm just gonna say that. I will say this though, one, to support what you said, Rose, but then also to hold her accountable. Since she wanted to get away so bad, she needs to go away to a mental hospital or to jail or something for some time, because she wanted to get away from whatever it was for whatever reason. So she needs to go away, because this isn't something that you could do lightly or play with lightly because of the severity of what's happening in the world in general. I'm not even going to say in our community, because it's affecting women, children, and man. Human trafficking is a global pandemic. And so I will say that. And so because of the severity of the issue and how she played it, something needs to happen to her to where she understands the ramifications of her acts. Now, to what you also said, Rose, is I do hope that she gets the mental help and she gains the mental fortitude that she needs to, one, to not feel the need to go to them links and to go to them measures, because again, as Flake stated, as a parent, that is something that you would never want to feel as a parent, as if your child was abducted and taken away and kidnapped by somebody or something. Like, as a parent, one of your biggest things once you become a parent is the protection of your children. Like, that's probably top of the list on anything in life, is making sure your kids are protected, and you never want to have that feeling that you didn't do enough, or that you didn't care enough, or that you didn't provide enough, or that you didn't teach enough or whatever the case may be, because then you start blaming yourself. And so you never want to feel that. On the flip side, as a parent, what she did, you're making your parents question their upbringing of you, probably like, did we make a mistake? Did we do something wrong for her to go to this? Like, she couldn't just come to us and talk to us about whatever she was going through. She felt the need to do this. One more thing that I want to state too is that even after we did the recording, I looked up a little bit, but I didn't do too much because actually the very next day it came out that that she was leaning on saying something, but they didn't say exactly what, but you could hint that she was leaning on exposing herself and saying that it was a fraud. So I didn't do too much research, but the one thing that I do want to bring up that we didn't talk about is, if I'm not mistaken, Hoover is a predominantly white community, right? It's funny how in a predominantly white community that this story has become national news, but when it's in our communities or even a community or urban so-called city as a Houston or Dallas or, Austin or Nashville or something like that, even though those cities may have certain numbers and, statistics of white folks or whatever the case may be, that these stories aren't national news. It was only because of the predominance of the statistics of white folks to black folks ratio that I believe that this became national news. And so she needs to, like you said, Rose, she needs a pop on her hand. Her ass need to get beat some by somebody or something. She need to sit her ass down. But I do hope that she does get the mental help that is needed so that she understands the severity of what she did. But I mean, hey.
Hey, I would say this, the Perini woman, she ended up getting 18 months. I'm pretty sure they're going to give Carlee somewhere around the same time once they go ahead and press charges, because I know they're going to do it. There's a lot of funds, ABI, TV, FBI, everybody came out. But then I think mentally that's going to make it really resonate of the other people that she may impact. And I would even argue this, is that I don't even think it was because it was the predominantly white city. I think it was just because she said it was a white baby is what made them respond so quick. I'm just going to be real. I don't even think if she would have just said, or somebody would have just said, it was a black baby, it would have been that much. Like, hold on, do you know him? Grab him, pick him up. Like, but
somebody
the fact
get
that
white baby.
Somebody get that white baby, yeah. But the fact that you said you can't see the child and it's just sitting on the side of the road, oh, this is serious, especially in a predominantly white city. So I can't say if she'd have said she seen Shaniqua over here, well, could you grab her? Do you know her mom? Because we do know this, that a lot of y'all know each other. So you know what I'm saying? That's just how it's gonna be. So yeah.
Hey, you know what I'm saying? I ain't even mad at the excuse I seen the white baby on the highway in just a diaper. You can go into a Walmart right now and there's gonna be a random white baby with just a diaper on, running around Walmart without a parent in sight. I guarantee you right now, that's gonna be the case. But to answer your question, Spears, shout out to Tej Figaro, Straight Shot No Chaser podcast, also be on the Breakfast Club. She does a lot of stuff in the background. She said this story got out because she's an AKA, because she's somebody who's in nursing school, and her house, people that her family know. So they was able to reach out and touch certain people to get this story out. Like, it was phone calls made to certain websites to say, hey, let's talk about this. Let's get this story out there. So due to the level of money that her parents make and due to her being an AKA and a nursing student, Tej Figaro kind of leaned toward, hey, they know people, phone calls are made to certain publications to say, we need to be talking about this. Let's get this story out there as a headline. Whereas somebody from a lower class don't have that to call a certain publication, say, hey, let's get the lead on this story. Call certain websites that talk about things like this and get that on the front page. So she was saying that's it's more of a classism type of situation, depending on from the projects or you at the trailer parks, you come up missing, it's gonna be a Facebook post. It might be one commercial, or you might go to Walmart and see the post on the wall, because they still got the posters on the wall when you go to Walmart or CVS or something like that about a missing person. And that's about it. But if you got somebody who knows some people, that know somebody, that know somebody, that know somebody, then you can get your story pushed up ahead of time. Also, I want to say, Hoover police, y'all ain't shit. This girl said she went missing, and she didn't even leave the city, and y'all couldn't even find her. She didn't even leave the city and could not be found.
I'm just gonna say this: the Delta's gonna have
you don't want to come up missing. You want to join a sorority. It's always gonna know where you at all times.
We're gonna have a field day with this one.
Throw up the rock.
They're gonna have
Crimson and cream, baby. Don't nobody come missing over here, baby.
Hey, if you want to play like you missing, go over there with them.
Right. We always front center.
That's
we
crazy.
don't see white babies. We don't buy Cheez-Its. we gourmet over here, baby. I'm gonna tell you something. I knew this was a lie from the beginning. I'm not gonna lie to you. When she I didn't say from the beginning. When she showed back up, I knew this was a lie.
Oh,
She said they fed her and her toes and her nails was done, and she had $109 in her pocket. I said, this bitch came back better than she left.
that was in her sock, man. It just started to get real funny when the mama had did the she had fought for her life and my baby was gonna make it home, and and that happened. But again, it's just like, nah, dog, it just wasn't adding up. And I get it, support who you support, but I wouldn't did no interview. She probably would have been off light, but I wouldn't have did no interview. When she said all that,
the father told it all in the interview looking like this. Boy, he was looking like boy, this is some bullshit.
Hey, he go tell both of them, y'all know y'all gonna have to take that ride now, because I ain't saying it in the interview. Y'all gonna take the misdemeanor.
I ain't got nothing to do with this. Yeah. I was just there for support. That's it. I ain't got shit to do with any of this. I'm telling you something.
He gonna rub her shoulder the same way when she get that sentence. It's gonna be all right, baby. Just a year and a half. Yeah.
I'm gonna visit you twice. I'm telling you something. Hey, look, if you gonna take me and do my feet and feed me, I'm gonna eat gyro, I'm gonna get my feet done and come back with an extra $109. Come get me today. Come get me today. That's a little weekend getaway. You know what I mean?
But yeah, man, that's we'll see how that unfolds. I'm just really waiting to see how fast Hoover, Alabama's gone. They said they had to meet. They met with the lawyer today. They still haven't spoke with the family. So yeah, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I'm pretty sure we'll probably hear something by either tomorrow or Thursday in regards to the charges once they find out of did she have somebody helping her during them 49 hours? What did the parents actually know? Stuff like that. Huh?
She said she acted all alone. She wouldn't with nobody. I don't believe it, but
yeah, I think so. Yeah, she also said she got abducted too. I mean, she seen a baby. So, yeah, so I mean, you can't really trust her word. They gonna find out.
I believe she gonna try to, like you said, the last lady got 18 months. I believe they're gonna try to get away with probation or 1129 or something like that. I think that's the only reason why they came out and was like, oh, we got word, her lawyer reached out to me and said this was a hoax, it wasn't real. I think the police called her, like Spears was saying last episode, this is information we got. So we gonna tell you what we know for a fact. Either you can come out and tell us the truth, or we finna keep on investigating and this about to get worse. And I believe that probably was the phone call that was made. And she just had to go ahead and say, look, hey, it's always a hoax, man. Please forgive me. I'm sorry. My mental state ain't right. The mental state is finna be played a lot. Watch.
We're gonna see. Should be interesting. Yeah, if they smack her with some time ain't nobody never seen. Just be careful how everybody tell hey, charge her. I think she should be held accountable. Yeah. Yep. You good. Yeah. But we'll see.
All right. Y'all got anything left? Anything else? Go and wrap this thing on up.
No, I ain't got nothing. That's it.
All right. Spears, you got your Black Business Minute for the week.
Yes, sir, I do. For this week, the Black Business Minute is the Boiler Seafood and Crab Boil. It's a Black-owned Atlanta-based restaurant that serves fried lobster tails, fried king crab, fried catfish, hush puppies, and more. Chad Dillon, a 33-year-old entrepreneur and restaurateur, has achieved massive success as the young owner of the Boiler Seafood and Crab Boil. In the past year, he has got revenue of $8 million. And so he started up during the pandemic. Chad, who was born and raised in Brooklyn, New York, to Jamaican parents, has always had a knack for business. Upon noticing a gap in the market, he seized the opportunity to bring an upscale seafood boil experience to Atlanta. He initially wanted to be a franchise of the Juicy Crab, but was denied. That was when he decided to take a risk and launch his own concept. In January 2019, Chad started planning for the Boiler Seafood and secured a building lease in Atlanta's prominent Buckhead neighborhood in August 2019. Although the global pandemic presented significant challenges at the time, Chad remained resilient and determined to bring his vision to life. On December 4, 2020, the Boiler Seafood opened its doors, quickly gaining popularity and becoming Buckhead's #1 seafood and crab boil restaurant. If you go to theboileratlanta.com, you could go on there and see their menu and the different things that they have. They have an about section on there, but there's nothing under there on the website. Again, I'm off social media right now, so been off for about 4 or 5 months now. Sticking strong, so I don't know if he has a Instagram or Facebook page or anything like that, but I'm pretty sure my co-hosts will find out, and if they can, they'll tag it in our post or whatever the case and let y'all people know. But you can go and support if you're in the Atlanta area. The website is theboileratlanta.com, so TheBoiler Atlanta.com, and the name of the restaurant is the Boiler Seafood and Crab Boil. So salute to Chad and everything that he's doing. $8 million revenue in a year is amazing, and it is good for an entrepreneur. It also did state in this article that he's an entrepreneur who's very hands-on. So he spends at least 10 hours a day at restaurant or doing things, running errands for the restaurant, going grocery shopping, doing things that sort, greeting people, guests and everything. So he's not just one of them owners who just come in and build up shop and then you never see him. So that's a thing. So if you go there, you might run into him and see him. So salute to you, Mr. Chad.
Yeah, shout out to Chad, man. Yeah, for $8 billion revenue. I'm gonna be in there too, shaking hands and washing dishes, whatever I need to do. So, hey, salute.
Black folks gonna fry up some stuff. I'm gonna tell you that right now.
And that's our Black business. But it's also a boil, so he does boils too. So and they say the boils in the article. They say the boils be hidden, but he does fry things as well. You know, but
we gonna see. Cause I'm sure we're gonna test them out. We're gonna pull up. All right, our swing back person of the week, probably no surprise, but it's gonna go to Irvin Magic Johnson, who has become part owner of the Washington Commanders. He is also part owner of the LA Dodgers. And I don't know if he sold his share of the Lakers or not. But also, if he still got his share of the Lakers, he also part owner of the Lakers. So that all three major sports. He is an owner and a businessman. Also with his movie theater, also other business ventures. Magic Johnson, as everybody know, they call him the greatest point guard of all time. We all know about him as being a player. But also, I think everybody who makes it to the level of sports, if you make it to the NBA, NFL, or even if you don't make it to that level, Magic Johnson is that person you should be looking up to if you are into business. This man has reinvented himself after basketball into becoming a business mogul. Magic Johnson puts his hands and touches about anything he can put his hands on. When most Black owners either have tried to get a team in the NFL and their group has been denied, Magic Johnson has found his way and moved his way in there. He's not the majority owner, but he is a minority owner. Like he's gonna be the face of the ownership, to be honest. Who wouldn't want to be the face of the ownership? But Magic Johnson is our Supreme Black Person of the Week. Also, the show Winning Time. I don't think Magic has anything to do with the show on HBO Max, which is now just called Max. Starts off, I think August 9th is when it premieres. It's about the Lakers dynasty back when Magic was playing. If you want to know about the early days of Magic, he was a wild boy. But that is, on top of that, that is a great show on top of that. But our Supreme Black Person of the Week is going to be Magic Johnson. Going to go down in history as one of the greatest businessmen of all time, if you ask me. His portfolio is very diverse.
Salute to Magic.
Shout out to Urban Johnson.
All right. With that being said, for all our queens out there, put your crown on. Tip that thing to the side. Let them know you are a queen. For our kings out there, put your crown on. Tip that thing to the side. Let them know you are a king. This is Supremely Black. And we out.